Hello everyone, my name is Venkatesh Kailkar and I welcome you all on this pleasant evening. First of all, I thank you all for joining today's Youth Empowerment Seminar. We have successfully conducted two seminars and today is the third one on the topic English speaking skills. I'm definitely sure that you will get to know many new and different things in today's seminar. Knowledge of languages is the doorway to wisdom. A wonderful quote by Roger Bacon. Language is a vital tool for communication, and that to English language is really very essential in today's progressive world. It is an official language in 53 countries and is spoken as first language around 400 million people worldwide. So today we have an eminent personality among us, Mr. Yash Patarkine sir. So, have I pronounced it correctly?
Yeah, quite correctly.
Okay. It's my pleasure to introduce you, sir. Sir had completed their Bachelor of Engineering from PICT Pune. Sir had completed Masters from University of Florida. Sir had won several competitions conducted by various clubs like ACM, Cerebro, and IEEE Minesweeper. Sir got placed in RIA advisory during bachelor's. Sir had scored 169 out of 170 in quantitative aptitude section of GRE. We are very fortunate to have you with us, sir. Over to you, sir.
Sorry. Yeah. So, would you like me to take up from here?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay. Just give me a second. Yep. Okay. I'll just share my screen. It's fine, right? Um, just let me know if you can see the screen, or what can you see on the screen.
So I can see English speaking skills.
Okay, so you can see the PPT, right?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. Just give me a second. Where is this Zoom thing? Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining. Um, so yeah, this is a simple topic, English speaking skills. Not really very uh, like something which is very useful in our day-to-day life. It will be if not now, it's going to be for sure, because you all are now starting engineering. It's bound to get much more important in your daily life, especially in the corporate world. When you after you finish your college, when you go out for jobs, you'll be requiring uh, you'll be requiring this a lot. So we can just start without further ado. If you could just listen, it's way better that way. And if you are getting any questions in between, just feel free to uh, put it in the chat box, even privately, if you are hesitant to tell your name or anything. So so yeah, we can just start without further ado. Okay, so what are we going to see in here is what exactly are speaking skills, then where we require them, or why do we require them, then the most important thing is how to improve them, because that's where we kind of struggle. We know, generally we know what are they, where they're required, but we kind of uh, don't do much when it comes to improving them. Then we have challenges that we face while we are trying to improve or want to improve, and we'll see how to face those challenges, right? Okay, so what exactly are um, speaking skills in general? If I have to say, the first thing a speaking skill, any language, what it entails is effective communication. So basically you are able to express your thoughts to some other person, and he's understanding you. That is the whole purpose of communication in the first place. And a language is just a medium through which we can communicate. So effective communication, now communication skills is a whole different topic in itself, and I won't be speaking much on that, because I think you might have some other session for that, like how to improve your communication skills. That's a different thing altogether. What we are speaking on, how to improve your English speaking skills. But just a little background on how we can have effective communication is, so one thing is, like for example, you can say non-verbal communication. For in improving your communication skills, you must have non-verbal communication, like a better. So what that means is, non-verbal means the one which we do without speaking, so our body language basically. So when we are talking with someone, you see, uh, we can't be looking here there. matlab, I hope every one of you understands Hindi here, or Hindi Marathi. I just assume Hindi mostly. I might speak some things in Hindi, so bear with it. So yeah, um, so means if someone is talking and we are looking like here there, so he'll be like, "Arey, ye kya kar raha hai?" Um, so body language is very important in, if you want to communicate really effectively. Then then what then what does speaking skill also entail is, we have to convey the information in such a way that the listener is able to relate to it. Not like, if we have some high vocabulary, we are just throwing in some random words, like I don't know, like pragmatic and all those. We had a lot of we had to learn a lot of words for GRE, so I know some really high words. But you can't just throw them anywhere, because the whole purpose of uh, the communication is lost if we just do that. So yeah, so that is one thing. And also, this is an example, like, so if you want to convey some idea, which is which can be simply put into a word, but because you don't know what it is, then you are trying to beat around the bush, ki are aisa wo ye wo. So for example, like, if you just want to say, like, a doctor who cures some muscle problems, now most of the people might just say this. But uh, an orthopedist is the same person who does these things. So these things, uh, I guess, they come over practice, like, when you are improving your vocabulary, or when you are reading more, listening more, it's just a process. It's not like a one day thing that's going to happen, right? So this is just about speaking skills. Then we have, why do we actually require them now? Um, as in the start only was explaining, like, English is the most spoken language, right? Most of the countries, they have their first language as English, so it's universally applicable, first thing. um, then now in colleges, quite frankly, believe me, in colleges, even in PICT, if you don't know much, you don't have really a high command on the language, you can still get through it. You're not supposed to know it very fluently or anything. It just whatever is required for Viva, a little bit that English, and written, we have, like, engineering students, they know how to write. So it's not like that much applicable. In college you can get through it, but in the corporate world, like, no matter from which branch you are, like, computer science, mechanical, civil, electrical, electronics, everyone in the corporate world, many of the companies, they are based on US clients. Like, the companies, whatever products they are making, or whomever they are serving, those clients are based in US. So when you have to talk with them, you have to know, you have to have a little high command on the language. And that's why the companies also, while interviewing, they everyone has that criteria of excellent communication skills. and and that's why it's very important, because the clients require it, the companies require it. And it's not something you can, you cannot think like, अरे ये तो मैं बाद में कर सकता हूँ, मतलब अभी इंजीनियरिंग करने आए हो तो थोड़ा एकेडमिक्स पे, आई मीन वी कैन फोकस ऑन एकेडमिक्स एंड इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग इज लाइक, oh we can do that. But actually you can't give your time at that time, like when you are interviewing, when you are trying to join a company, at that time you cannot think, "Arey, now how should I learn English?" So you have to start from now, because one more thing, when interviews, when you go for placements, before the interviews they generally have an aptitude test. So in that aptitude test there's always a section of English mostly, and if you're not really comfortable with it, then you can't just clear the first round, what to speak of then getting the interview and going for the placements. So yeah, now some of this information might be redundant for some people, like they might be knowing all of these things, especially those who might have come from CBSE boards or ICSE boards or some higher English schools. But we are talking this from a general point of view, where our first language is not English, and it's totally fine. So so yeah so yeah, in the corporate world, I was saying that it's very important that we know what we are what we are doing, and that's why it's important, and that's why learning the skills is very important. Okay, so how do we improve the skills now? So I've just taken out four aspects of speaking skills. One is vocabulary, then grammar, pronunciation, and fluency of the language, right? um so we have vocabulary. Now what does vocabulary entail is, three things. First, you have to know the word, like you should know that it exists. Are ye word aisa exist karta hai, that much you should know. Then you have to know the meaning of that word, definitely, like for sure. You can't just throw in words you don't know the meaning of. It's uh, sometimes we do use some words like that जिसका meaning मालूम नहीं रहता है, but we just still throw it in. And sometimes it might create some misunderstanding, because if we don't know the meanings. And the most important thing about vocabulary is you have to form sentences with those words. Just knowing the words in themselves is not as important as knowing the words in the sentence. So yeah, and now why it is important. um See, if if you know one word, uh, let's say, let's just take one example. Now if you want to describe your घर का, that सामने का area which we called as आंगन. So we might try to explain it in English, like, oh, in that part, which is outside our house, but actually inside the plot only, like the front area of the house. So instead of saying like all these things, you can just say that the front porch or something like that, where it's kind of similar area. So if you are just knowing the word, then it's very easy to express that idea itself, and that is why it's important. Now I'm going to give you some really practical things to, if you want to improve your vocabulary. And it's not a really it's not really something hard, or somehow you have to do. No, it's simple, you can do it easily. Yep. So yeah, so I'll just, should I just write it here? Some practical things I can tell. One is called as flashcards. So there are flashcards available throughout, like Google App Store, Play Store, both Android and iOS. So these flashcards are something like, they will have a word on the UI, on the screen. They will have a word. When you tap the word, they will tell you the meaning with the uh, with the sentence in which that word is used. And every time you open that app, like you get random words, like, and you click them and you get to know the meaning. So when you're free time, or whenever you are whenever you don't have anything, just, or while multitasking, doing something else also, you can just look through these words, because the more you put in, the words, especially with the sentences and the simple words, not even, I'm not talking about like really high-fi words, just simple words. So the more you see them, the more you use them, the more you get comfortable with them, and you can, put it in your speaking as well. So that is one thing, flashcards. And there is something called as Quizlet. So Quizlet is um, a custom flashcard. Like, I'll just write it here. What is Quizlet? So this is a website, I guess, and it's a. Can you see my word, or you can just see the PPT? Can someone tell if they can see my?
No, sir, the word is not
No, sir.
visible.
Okay, word is not visible. You're saying it's weird. Okay, some people also told about the front, the front yard. Yeah, it's actually a better. I didn't think of that. I just wanted some example and I could not think of that. But yeah, just let me see if I can share. Can you still not see it?
No.
Oh man.
Sure, sir.
Sorry?
No,
Just
sir, we still cannot see words.
okay,
It's just a
you can see the presentation though.
yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay, that's fine. I'll just share it again. I'll share. I mean, I'll share. I need to use something like a notepad in between, little bit. So this is Quizlet. So Quizlet.com, I think it's a website, and you can create your custom flashcards on that. Like, for example, I'm telling you how I used to prepare for vocabulary when I was preparing for my GRE, because they have some really high words which you have to know, in order to crack it. So what I used to do was, while reading some news articles on science or something like that, or any new word we come across, we basically put these words with their meanings in this app, and they act as your custom flashcards. So if I visit that again, that app, I think it's an app also, I'm not sure. But if I visit that, then again it just shows me the word, and I have to guess the meaning again. Like, so the more times I repeat it, the more times the harder it gets in the brain. Like, yeah, this thing means this thing. So so yeah, so this is one thing. Then the Quizlet, um I'll just share it again. Yep. Just give me a sec. Yeah. So you can try that. Like, so improving vocabulary, what are you going to need is just basically this flashcards are, I would say, enough. Like, or reading something new and putting it somewhere so that you can refer it back again. And vocabulary is important, definitely. Like, the more words you know, the better it's going to be. Okay, then we have grammar. Now grammar is like something, like, we have some conception that अरे बोलते वक्त थोड़ा चल जाता है, इतना कुछ नहीं है, but for writing we need grammar. And quite frankly, for writing nowadays, we have like all these new software things like Grammarly and all, which kind of, which improves our grammar automatically. But it's not like that. While speaking also, it's very much required, very important. Grammar is very important while speaking. And it also affects who we are talking with. Like with friends, if we are talking in English, and we are saying, like, little something here and there, it's fine. Like, वो friends को मतलब they get the essence कि क्या बोलना चाहता है ये, and it's all fine. Like, the ideas are communicated. But in corporate world, even if they are also understanding what you want to say, but if the grammar is not proper, then it creates a bad impression on the person, especially when 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 you go in corporate world, you have your managers, you have your bosses, and you have to report to them quite often, like on a daily basis. I'm talking mostly from the perspective of a computer science student, like IT world. So you have to report quite often in that case. And if your communication skills are bad, it's like it's a very bad impression. And grammar also helps us convey the information in a way that listener can understand. What this means is, if we say something like without proper grammar, sometimes it can be misunderstood. ये exactly हुआ क्या था. So that's why it's important. Now um i'll just I'll just write a few sentences, and any one of you can just tell me whether they are grammatically correct or not. And I would encourage those those who are not from really like CBSE or ICSE background, or little like higher English background, if they could just try to answer those. Just give me a second. Oops. Okay. Set. Okay, so if I just write, okay, so if this is a sentence, Ramesh like pizza, so is this correct?
No, sir.
Or
No.
no, it's not correct?
It
What?
should be
No, sir.
likes.
Sorry, I couldn't get it.
Instead of like, there should be likes.
It should be
Okay,
likes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Likes.
yeah, so
Likes.
Ramesh likes pizza.
Ramesh likes a pizza.
Okay, perfect. So now this is a grammatical error now, because Ramesh is a singular noun. So the verb has to be with the likes, not like, if there were like 2-3 people, then they like pizza, but one person, he likes pizza. So yeah, okay, I can write one more. Let's say I fed, oopsie, all the cows. Then okay, so in this sentence, is there anything wrong?
Uh, uh, at the position of its, there should be there.
Okay, it should be like, so this is also a grammatical error. This is a pronoun error actually, because the cows, they're plural, so it should be there instead of its. Although we refer, if it were a cow, we would have said, oh, it's, but because it's cows, we are saying it's there. So these are some, like simple things. Now some of you might be thinking, "Arey, ye itna chota mota mistake kaun karta hai?" But generally, while speaking, sometimes in the course of just speaking, we make some mistakes while speaking, as I might also be doing. Like, we don't understand them. So the more command we have over the language, the easier it becomes, right? Now, how can we improve? Actually our grammar? So the first solution I would give is, you have to read. Because what happens when you read, you reinforce correct grammar into your mind. um, let's say, like like some science articles or some books, your seniors might be providing you some books, I don't know, Vikram or someone. So when you read some books, it reinforces correct grammar, and you just get used to you get used to the things as they are. Then second thing I would say is, if you're not really in touch with grammar, because all these things we learn very early, like I'm not even sure like which standard, but these simple things like after I, like I am, we say, not I are or I is. Like these things, I am, you are, he is, they were. So so these things we learn at a very earlier stage, but if the basics are not really clear, then it might be a trouble. So so if someone of you might be having that problem, then you can get a grammar manual or something, and just see a little bit like why it's going like that. I'm speaking from a very a very such a point of view that assuming like if you have not learned English at all. But but yeah, then one thing is reviewing the basics of grammar, like simple things like parts of speech, like like what is a noun, what is a pronoun, what is a verb. Like verb is has to be there. If you are making a sentence, verb has to be there. Then what are adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, how to use them a little bit, just for the fluency of that. And then after that, after reviewing the like and after reviewing the basics, you can also listen. Like hearing audiobooks is very I'm going to the solutions for improving your English are going to be similar for all of the things. Like vocabulary was there, now grammar is there, so it's not going to be much different, right? So in grammar also you can listen to some audiobooks, or you can listen to others conversation, like. And especially when you are reading, try to read out loud, because when you hear your own voice, it reinforces even more that thing on your mind. So that's why it's very important to hear it in your own voice. So try to read like that. Okay. Yeah, so that's about grammar. Then third we can go for is pronunciation. So yep, just let me see. Oh, okay, there was chat. Yeah, so pronunciation now, it's kind of a a thing like अरे थोड़ा चल जाता है pronunciation इधर उधर, मतलब as long as it's understandable it's fine, because anyway quite frankly it differs for everyone literally. For example, uh, like let's just speak about Marathi. Let's say I'm from Nagpur now, so Nagpurian Marathi is very different from Marathi I used to speak in Pune, like how I got used to it in Pune, because they have a very different their Marathi is little more standard, I would say pure. Nagpur's Marathi is kind of Hindi, Tapori Marathi kind of thing. But so you get so pronunciation of words just like that, it differs from who is speaking. Like a Maharashtrian will speak different English, little bit different English, like you'll be able to recognize, as compared to a South Indian, let's say, because they have different dialects in their own mother tongue, right? They don't use like the in their language, they use like the. So anything they have to say, they will use the instead of the. um, uh, Also, like if someone is, let's say, even born in Maharashtra but studied abroad, their accent changes. I know people here who are from India, and literally in like 2 years now, their accent have become little American, just by speaking, or just by being associating with that kind of crowd. So the more you speak in that way, the more it gets affected. But it's, I mean, it's not all like अरे चलता है, it's not like that because it's different कि कुछ भी बोल दिया तो चल जाएगा. No, it is important, like some things you have to know the pronunciation in that proper way. Like especially some words in English, they might be a little confusing for the first time. uh, like I was watching this video of some teacher teaching about nature and future. Words like that, you can't say them like they are spelled actually, like nature and future or something like that. It's different, so you have to know the pronunciation. And how you are going to know it is by listening to audiobooks. So Okay, so how to improve your pronunciation is first is listening, very important. And why I'm saying audiobooks is because you can at the same time, read what they are also saying. It's a conception that, if we are hearing, if we are watching English movies, we can improve our English. It doesn't work that way. Even actually it's true even for reading, like, if you are reading some novel or something, for the sake of enjoying that book, then you are not paying attention to learning the English. So for learning, it's not required that अरे English के movies देख लिए तो English समझ में आ जाएगा. No, it does not happen. We generally read the subtitles only anyway, like kind of try to understand what is happening, but we don't improve our English in that process. So listening to audiobooks is one really nice way to improve the English. Then Google Translate, it's kind of your friend in this regards. You can, when you're reading something, if you don't know how it is pronounced, just go to Google and type that word and use the Google Translate, to hear the pronunciation. Then one thing is, you can actually, you have to notice how your mouth and lips, they move when you are speaking. So I was like researching a little bit, like how to improve pronunciation, and they were suggesting that you should talk to yourself, like stand in front of a mirror and just speak, and just try to watch your lips, like what you are saying. So this is also like an important aspect that you can try, some practical. I've not written all these things in PPT. I'm just sharing. I hope you're like paying attention. It's kind of difficult, but still. So um yeah, and sometimes now we have to go by the context, like, because some words in English, they're pronounced the same way, but they mean like a totally different thing. um, let's just say about these two words. So we have way and way. So now these two are pronounced in the same way, like this way, that way, like that we say. And weigh, some, like, weigh is like you weigh something, you calculate the weight of something. So uh, they are pronounced the same way, but while speaking or listening, you definitely understand which one they are using, right? Because the context is like that. uh, if you are saying somewhere, go this way, so it's for sure you are using this way. So sometimes it goes by the context, but yeah, you still have to know the pronunciation. Yeah. So yeah, so this was about pronunciation. Then we have the fourth thing, that's fluency. Now fluency is, it's, I would say, important, even important than grammar and pronunciation, like everything. um so what it entails is, you have to when you hear the words, you have to understand them straight away. What we generally do, like, when we have our first language as not English, some other thing, like Marathi or Hindi or something, we try to translate whatever we are hearing or whatever we are reading. We try to translate that English sentence into our mother tongue, and then try to understand it from our language. But but fluency means, when you're reading English, you directly understand English just like that. So fluency is very important, because you can't always have that time to translate every sentence from English to your mother tongue and then try to understand it. And it goes the same way for speaking. Like, if you want to say something, you can't just um, think that sentence in your own mother tongue and then translate it's going to take a lot of time. And the front person whom you're speaking with, he'll be like, yeah, what, like, he'll be like, "Arey, kab hoga tera translation number?" So you have to like directly think in English and like hear understand it directly in English. And now this can be done um done by reading books. Definitely, like you get a flair for that, you just try to understand them straight away. And as I told, even in vocabulary, that when you learn words, so you learn them in sentences only directly, instead of learning what does this mean. You have to learn them directly in the sentence, like what this sentence means in itself, like when we use this word with it. it it creates a more a better impression, and it's long lasting too. And there are some other tips for improving your fluencies. You have to think in English. Now you can do this on your personal, like personal, like normal life. Let's say if you are in college and if you want to eat vada pav or something, so instead of thinking, so what you think generally is, अरे यार सोच रहा हूँ वड़ा पाव खा लूँ वगैरह, something like that. So instead of thinking it in Hindi, you can just think in English. Oh, I'm hungry, maybe I should go get some get some food or something like that. So when you develop that habit of thinking in English, you can, it it uh, it automatically, uh, you get that more and more desire to learn, kind of. Yeah, I mean, you will, when is this going to happen is when you are reading more. When you are reading more English, or hearing, kind of, then you start thinking in that way, and that improves the fluency of your language. So that is one thing. Then second thing is, you have to pay close attention when you hear. You can pay close attention to how there are some stressed words, like some part of the words is stressed. uh, so for better understanding the word, I'll just say one example. So we have something called as address. Now you can pronounce it as ad address. Oh, come on. And an address. So when you are talking about this address, so this ad is stressed, and it's like address. So address is your physical location, like where you live. Like I live in this apartment, this thing. And to and this thing is address is like when we are speaking formally to a group of people, like the chairperson or the headmaster, he addresses somebody. So these things can be known by hearing about the, when you are paying close attention to the stressed words. That's when you can understand these things. So that is one thing, you have to pay close attention. Then one is, again for fluency also, try talking with yourself, like in front of a mirror, or just in general, like try talking with yourself. um like if you have heard something, maybe you can try to think it in a way that you are explaining it to someone in your own words, and just try to explain it to yourself only in your own words, not exactly what is written, but how you have understood. So how you perceive things, like how you have understood some sentence, you try to tell that to yourself, not in your language but in English only. Generally what we do is, when we want to understand something, we translate it to our own language, and then try to tell ourselves, अरे ये लिखा है ऐसा, अरे मतलब ये लिखा है मतलब इसका बोलने का मतलब ऐसा है. But instead of that, you try to make yourself understand in English only, in your own words probably. That is one important thing. And then again, as I said, you can use a mirror for that, so that you know you're comfortable, like you are understanding what you're speaking. You can look at your mouth and lips. Then when it comes to uh, you know when it comes to whether I should focus more on grammar or fluency, I would say you should go more with fluency, because grammar is more like it's a set of rules, like अरे ये किया तो ऐसा ऐसा होने वाला है. So it's more like set of rules, and those can be developed over time. Like वो वो कैसा है कि जितना पढ़ोगे सुनोगे, that's going to come. But fluency is like you have to be kind of confident in your speaking. So even if you blunder something, like some grammar mistake happens or something, but as long as you are confident, you are speaking like confidently, it's going to be all right. Like the grammar skills will come the more you are listening and hearing. But if like both you have to do nicely, but if there is a preference, like first you should work more on your fluency. Sometimes we just need to get out of our comfort zone. I'll speak that later also. But sometimes we need to get out of our comfort zone to like speak in English. We tend to avoid it mostly, um, especially with friends and all, with that impression that अरे लोग हंस देंगे मेरे पे, even if you want to. But we'll see about that in the challenges. And then what you can also do is, for fluency you can try to read some tongue twisters. There so the faster you can say them, your tongue is like, it gets used to that after a while. uh like there are tongue twisters, like like this one. I can just write it here, it's easy, and you can just try to repeat it. And anyway, you guys are muted, so you can tell it to yourself. Can as canners can a can. So this is a proper English sentence actually, and it's also a tongue twister because there are a lot of cans in it. Can you can a can as canners can a can. And you can try to repeat it. Can you can a can as canners can a can. And the faster you can repeat it, it's like your tongue has gotten used to it a little bit. So maybe you can just, I'll give you 10-15 seconds, you can repeat it for yourself like a few times. Okay. So yeah, this thing also helps a lot in increasing your fluency of language. Yeah, kacha papad pakka papad. Yeah, that's Hindi though. Yeah, but actually it might also help twist your tongue a little bit. Kacha papad pakka papad. I used to say that. but but yeah, try if it's in English, it's even more like sometimes it goes even harder. Like can you can is still an easy one. There are like one more I knew was she sells seashells on the seashore, something like that. And there are even more. These two are actually I know, and I have practiced them before, so I can speak them fast. Now if you give me some another one, a new one, it's going to be difficult definitely, but it helps in increasing the fluency. Yep. So these four were the main aspects of improving your English speaking, especially like knowing the vocabulary, then knowing the grammar, then pronunciation and fluency. And if you can improve even a little bit in these four aspects, then you are good for the corporate world, or just the outside world in just the outside world in general. Yeah. Sometimes we might think actually that why do we actually need so much. Our mother tongue is different, and although it's used in corporate world, but they are also Indians only, so why so much formality and all those things. Because especially if you see here in America, they just know one language. Everyone knows one language. By default, Indians know at least two languages, their mother tongue and Hindi. So we already know more languages than them. Then why do we need to learn like more and more languages? But just as I said, like this is a uh, especially for IT, I would say, like many of the clients, they are US clients, and it's just the official language, like we can't do anything. So somehow we just have to get you know get accustomed to the fact that we are going to be using this language for our life, basically, especially in our career. So it's very important, that's why. And especially now it's expected of you as you are engineering students. So yeah, now we have some challenges in if even if you want to try to improve, these are some things that are going to come. Hesitance in speaking, some social anxiety. Let's say I ask some random person from this chat to speak something, he might get some social anxiety. अरे यार इतने सारे लोग हैं, क्या बोलूं? Like that. Or you might have feeling of getting judged, like if you make some mistake you'll be like, अरे सब लोग हंसेंगे मेरे पे, क्या करूंगा मैं, something like that. Or you might also think that if you are making some mistake, then others might be hesitant to correct my mistake because they think that I'll be discouraged. So these are some genuine concerns which we have. And how we can get over them is, if you are not comfortable with anyone, just hear audiobooks. You can hear the sentence and repeat it to yourself. This is like kind of the best way for introverts. But yeah, about what I was saying, that out of the comfort zone is, you have to somehow break open that shell and come out of your comfort zone to do something else. Like personally for me, I would say I'm not very uh, a public speaking kind of a person. This is like my second time I'm addressing such a crowd. So it's very difficult, actually. You are so nervous, you make so many mistakes. But I mean, the more you do, the more the relaxed you the more relaxed you start getting around that. And you can just, and then it becomes like your second nature, I would say. Then you can just speak naturally and it's fine. Then okay, so for introverts, like hearing audiobooks is one amazing way. Then you can record yourself and hear, which is also easy. Yeah, Sarvesh is saying level of confidence grows definitely when you speak more. Like compared to first time, believe me, I'm doing a little better. I like, if I speak for myself, first time I was so nervous. Oh my god. I was speaking to some group of COEP students, and it was very difficult. This time at least I'm little bit more confident, even though I'm like actually very scared. But yeah, so yeah, so you have to get out of that comfort zone of yours. Like, अरे चलता है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं. So yeah, so for introverts, you can record yourself and hear also. That's one other way. When you are hearing your own voice, you understand, अरे ये बोल रहा था क्या मैं. So yeah, then then the third thing is interdependence. Now this is for the person, like if you have somebody who is good in English, so you ask him to correct your English. Like you should ask, like, अरे मतलब मेरे को इतने अच्छे से नहीं आता है, but मेरे को मालूम है इसका जरूरत है, तो if I talk to you in English, please feel free to correct it. So that confidence you should also have while while approaching someone. And the other person also should be, because you're approaching, he should not be like, अरे नहीं नहीं मैं कैसे क्या correct करूँ तेरे को, मेरे को अच्छा नहीं लगता. नहीं नहीं, if you are helping that person, it's good actually. So you can do that. Then you can participate in such discussions. It's like it's one of the ways of improving. Actually, when you participate in such discussions, you automatically, like even if your English is not really good, if you are participating and you're confident in something you are speaking, then naturally, like sometimes someone might tell you that, अरे आपने ऐसा ऐसा बोला था, वो actual में it was little bit wrong, like you should have spoken like this things. So you understand, like, oh, तो ऐसा बोलना था मेरे को. So but if you are not speaking only, if you know, like for introverts, if you're not speaking only, then nobody will understand like how much you know or whether you know or not, and nobody will, you know, you don't have that chance of improving at all. So please, I mean, you know, you try to take part in discussions. It's I know for you know, for people who are a little nervous, it's very difficult, but it's worth it. I mean, you will eventually, you'll be happy that you did that at some point of time. I personally, if you say, I never took part in such discussions, and I sometimes regret it, because now very recently I've started taking part, you know, in some club discussions or something like that, and it's very helpful. It's very helpful, seriously. And yeah, you can just start today only, like whatever, like for you today now it's like night, for me it's morning, so that's why I wrote it today. But yeah, uh, so yeah, you can start today, and that's about it. Thank you very much. uh, you can ask if you have any questions. I would actually, you know, it would be nice if, although it's like it's not really a very difficult topic, but if you still have some questions, please feel free to ask them. If you are you know, if you are a little nervous, maybe you can private message me. Why it happens that, okay, so Aditya is asking to everyone basically. So why it happens that when I write in English, the words strike quickly, because but not when we are speaking. So you see, because when we are writing, you know, we feel that the words are striking, you know, quick, but actually we are taking that much time only, like, you know, like we are writing word, and by the time we are writing that word, we are thinking about the next whatever we are going to write. But while speaking, it has to be a little more spontaneous. So if you are little bit confused about what to say while speaking, you just, instead of taking a pause or something, like some people do like this, that they'll say, you know, in between or something like that. It's not a good practice, I would say, but sometimes it's fine. I mean, even very eloquent speakers, they speak like that, you know, like they speak like, you know, in between, so that you get that time to think what what you want to say. While writing, it's easy a little bit, because you have a lot of time to think while you're writing one word. uh, okay, so you understand English, but you are not comfortable in speaking English. Yeah, Suraj, that's with, like, that's the thing. Like most of us, definitely, especially if we are not from you know, higher English boards, we still do understand English, but understanding English is really not enough in the corporate world. I would say you have to know a little bit, you know, you have to show confidence in speaking also, because till the time you don't speak, uh, you're not going to be comfortable with speaking. So you can definitely try out some of these some of these things, you know, like you can hear audiobooks, you can read with that, you know, read loudly, record yourself, hear yourself. And it's a matter of time. Like if you practice it, you're going to get comfortable in speaking also. Understanding is, I mean, we do understand sometimes, like, you know, like for me, like staying here, or let's just say I have a sister who is born here. So she's small actually, and she just knows English only, but she understands, like if I'm speaking to her in Marathi also, she understands what I'm saying. But she can't speak at all, she can't speak Marathi at all. So just understanding is not really sufficient. You have to be able to speak. And why I'm you know, little deliberate on, like, you know, why we need speaking, is because uh, we also need to, in in the corporate world, not only like we have to, you know, report to our bosses every now and then, but also we have to write also reports. So if you are just understanding that, then it's difficult to write also. So you know, you have to you have to little bit work on that, because yeah, like especially interviews, I would say, I know so many cases where the interviewers, they take people who have very fluent communication skills. It's just like they're एकदम ऐसे मक्खन की तरह उनके communication skills होते हैं, and the interviewers are like, oh my god, this is like the person, even if their academics are not that much, but still, I mean, you have to do both. But yeah. Okay, so someone is asking, while speaking I hesitate a lot, so how to overcome this? Yeah, so as I said that, it's very natural, because yeah, believe me, I used to hesitate a lot, but sometimes it just helps, like you have that one friend or someone whom you're confident with little bit, who you feel that, अरे इसके सामने मैंने कुछ भी ऐसे गड़बड़ कर दिया तो ये हंसेगा नहीं मेरे पे. So you speak with that person only. Don't try to, if you are hesitant, don't directly try to do public speaking class or something like that. Just speak with your friend, then it's fine. And other things which you can do for personally, that you can do. Why this hesitation comes is because we are not confident whether we are speaking it correctly or not. Now, like, if you are a little bit confident that, अरे मैं बोल रहा हूँ कुछ तो सही, like something I'm saying which the people are understanding, you just say it, then no problem. Okay. Okay, someone is asking, I can't translate mother tongue language into English sometimes. It creates trouble for me. What can I do now? Okay, you don't need to translate your mother tongue language into English. You directly have to think in English, as I was saying before only. Sometimes we do that. Sometimes I also do that, but it's on very rare occasions when you want to really understand something. Like, I especially used to do that to understand some concept uh, of like academics, like something about something is given, like some let's say, I don't know about, for computer science, I would say, let's say some algorithm is there, and uh, if it's written all in English, then I might little bit translate it to Hindi or Marathi, like, oh my, like हे इकडून इकडे जातं, और यहाँ से यहाँ जा रहा है, फिर यहाँ हो रहा है. So something like that. We can think like that, but actually it's not really a good practice in general that you always translate. You don't need to. You just start thinking in English only. I hope that answers your question. So we have one more question. Sir, instead of telling him that you says wrong, tell him another way to speak so he may get on more specific next time. Oh, okay. For this, okay, for this, that it's understanding, but it's not comfortable speaking. Yeah, it's, as I said, it's like not wrong, because we by default know two languages, which is more than most of the population of the world. They just know one language, especially Americans, I would say. They just know English. So it's not a shame that you're not knowing or anything. It's totally fine. But the thing is, because you are now in engineering, and you will need to use that language, so you have to cross that barrier. um, for it's going to be very useful, so definitely you have to little bit get a grasp on that. But I mean, it's fine. It's not something like end of the world. अरे English नहीं आ रहा है, अब क्या करूं? अरे कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. It's totally fine. um okay, so can you speak something in Marathi or Vidarbha? That's a very weird question. I don't actually know. After staying 4 years in Pune, I've kind of forgotten our Vidarbha Marathi. Uh, I don't know, like Kashala be, Kaska. Kaska is mostly Marathi, but Kashala be ekdam mahol चालू आहे सगळा. This is like little Nagpurian Marathi. Okay, yeah, there is fear of getting judged. Thank you for the suggestion. No problem. Okay. So, oh, okay. I forgot I have to stop screen share. Yeah. So, yeah. If I've if I have given any topic to speak about, there is so much stuff in my mind about the topic, but whenever I start speaking, I can't recall all those points. Why is this so? This is so relevant for me right now because when I heard of this topic, I had so many things in my mind, but when I spoke, when I tried to make a presentation or I was wondering what I'm going to speak, it was very difficult. But yeah, writing the points help, I would say. When if you are not able to recall the points, you that's because the mind is like it's very it has like we have very short term memory also, like some thoughts just come and go away. So when they come, you just note it down somewhere, and when you note that down, then you can refer back to it. uh, it's the best way. I would say, like, that's how I do generally, like, if I have to do, I'll just write it down somewhere, like for this presentation, I'd say I made a PPT. So, and that PPT was mostly for my for my understanding. I was not speaking much from that, just little bit bullet points. I was mostly explaining, but you don't have to write the whole point, just the main part of the point, and you'll be able to recall the points again. If someone's asking, so how do you improve your English? How you improve your English? We can understand but can't speak. Can you refer some book to improve your English language? Um, there is no such book actually to refer to improve the English language. All the suggestions I gave, they are definitely going to help you, like improving your vocabulary separately, like understanding words, what they mean, then improving your grammar um, by okay. So there's this then there could be some grammar manuals that you can search upon Google, that could help a little bit. Then improving the pronunciation, for that you can read science articles or some other books. I think Vikram or someone can give you some suggestions on some books to read, and you can just read those. I mean, there is no such specific book for improving English language. It's not like that. Many authors, they have a similar kind of flair for the language, and they just speak it that way. So you can refer to any book. Then oh, yeah, if you are seeing like somebody else, like instead of lowering his confidence, try to support him. Yeah, like if you are seeing someone who is not able to speak English, you just cannot start making fun of that person. It's a very, I mean, it's morally very indecent, I would say. If you are making fun of someone, that's not really good, because he might be knowing some other things much better than you do. And it's like, I mean, it's just a skill. English is just a skill. Some people know it better, some people might not. So you have to help them. That's why I'd written that point of interdependence, that you have to be dependent on someone, and at the same time, the person who knows that should be humble enough to correct that person as a as a help for the other person, not out of arrogance that are mere ko zyada aata hai. Not like that. Yeah, definitely you have to support them, not lower the confidence. Okay, so Rohit is asking, you have told that we should think in English. I do think in English, and I don't make any kind of mistake in my mind. But when it comes to speaking, I make a lot of mistakes, such as grammatical errors and not pronunciation word correctly. Okay, so again, if you are doing that, that means you need to maybe read a little. If you are able to think correctly in English, you are saying, just put that thought into words directly. Yeah, like why I would say we generally make mistakes is because of fear only. uh, like if especially if we are talking with someone, then it creates kind of a thing in our mind that अरे यार इसके सामने बोल रहा हूँ सब एकदम बराबर निकलना चाहिए, कोई से गड़बड़ हो गया तो गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. So that's why it generally happens. But if you are just speaking with yourself, then you don't generally make mistakes. Now thinking in your mind is actually speaking to yourself, but when you say it aloud, you still feel that somebody is hearing you. Even if you are in a in a little closed room or something, you might feel that अरे कोई तो सुन रहा है मेरे को, तो maybe you can blunder at that time. So you just have to get that confidence that no, this is like uh, if you know that you are correct, then you have to be confident about what you are saying. and this is going to come, like as I said, the more you start reading in English, the better it's going to get, definitely. Okay, someone's asking, sometimes when I'm talking, all of a sudden I get conscious about my grammar and leads to mistakes even though everything is going smoothly. Oh yeah, this happens a lot. Actually, this happens with me also. Yesterday I was speaking with my mother also. She's a professor, like she's an English teacher. So I was getting so much conscious of what I'm saying, like and she was like, no, you're doing it good, but you don't need to like look out for everything. And as I said, like if they are little bit grammatical mistakes, it's still fine. The fluency is important. The grammar is kind of a set of rules. It comes with practice, and it's going to come like the more you speak. But if you think like um, if you're going it smoothly with the confidence level is good and you're speaking it nicely, then you don't need to worry much about grammar, because sometimes it just happens, like it's not our first language. So it's it's all good. Aditya. Okay. Should Oh yeah, I just answered this, right? Okay, you put the question 2 times. I learned many times tenses and many other English grammar, but after some time I forgot how to learn it permanently. Yeah, so how you can okay, I'll just read the question somebody has asked. I learned many times the tenses and all those grammar rules, but after some time I forget it. So how to keep it permanent? So how to imbibe it in you is through reading only. Again, like literally every question has a similar answer, reading and hearing. That's what you have to do, because that's what helps. um, I definitely know people who are from little, you know I would say, where English was not their first language in school also. Like for me, as from an English medium school, so for me, even though it was like state board, it was still English medium school. So my first language was English. But I know some of my friends whose first language was never English. Like till their 10th standard, they had like Marathi as their first language and English as their third language. So even they like when after like when we were in bachelors, and we sometimes used to read together actually some books, and it creates like, and I've seen their English like uh, get so much better. Like one of my friends recently, not recently actually, when I was only going to give my GRE and come for masters here. So we both were studying together actually for the GRE, and he also um, and his English is also like, it has gotten so much better as compared to what it was when he first came. So uh, of course we do forget the rules and all those things. It's difficult to remember, but after some time, like you don't need to uh, be stuck on the rules, like अरे इसके साथ यही use होता है. It's not like that. It just comes naturally. Like some rules for me, like like they come like little naturally now, because of the the more you read, the easier it's going to become. Yes, you have to listen, speak, read, and write. Actually, this is what is expected. I mean, if you plan on giving GRE or GMAT or something, like if you want to go to some foreign country for your masters or something, there is some test called as TOEFL or IELTS you have to give, and in that they have these 4 things only. You have to listen to something English, and then you have to speak something in English. Yeah, TOEFL and IELTS. You have to read in English and you have to write in English. So these 4 things are required. So yeah, you have to improve those skills. And as I said, it's like no pressure. It's important, definitely, because it's required. But at the same time, you don't have to kill yourself. Arey, मेरे को English नहीं आ रहा है, क्या करूँ? No, it's fine. It's not your first language, so you don't have to worry that much. But yeah, you have to improve. Yeah, that's the end of questions, I would say. Yes. Venkatesh, you want to say something, or like you have more time, or I think you are muted. Oh, just give me a second. Oh, thank you for being such amazing crowd. I mean, you're asking a lot of questions. It was really nice. I was very nervous about what I was going to speak.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable guidance, sir.